After 20 years, I discovered my wife had a lover, and my mother gave her the green light. I never thought I'd be writing here, but I guess betrayal has a way of forcing your hand. I'm David, 45, married to Melissa, 44, for 20 years. We've got 2 kids, both grown and out of the house now. For most of our marriage, I thought we were steady. Not fireworks every day, but solid, the kind of love that survives mortgages, soccer practices, and late nights balancing bills. Melissa was always the social one. Outgoing, funny, a little flirty, but I chalked it up to her personality. I trusted her. After 2 decades together, how could I not? The first signs of trouble were subtle. More girls' nights, more wine club, meetups that never seemed to end before midnight. She started dressing younger, spending more time on her hair and makeup before errands. But any time I raised an eyebrow, she'd bite my head off. What, I can't take care of myself? Sorry, I'm not some frumpy housewife like your mom. That one stung. My mom and I have always had a complicated relationship, but hearing my wife sneer at her like that hit a nerve. Still, I told myself it was harmless. Midlife stuff. Empty nest syndrome. Whatever label made it easier to ignore. I didn't know it then, but I wasn't just being betrayed by my wife. I was being betrayed by my own mother too. And that truth would shatter me in ways I still haven't fully come to terms with. The truth came out in the ugliest way possible, by accident. One Saturday, Melissa left her laptop open on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping, I just went to move it so I could put down the groceries. But the screen lit up, and there it was, a Facebook Messenger chat window. I shouldn't have looked. But after weeks of wine nights and cold shoulders in bed, I couldn't help myself. The messages weren't vague. They weren't friendly. They were explicit. Stuff like, I still feel your hands on me from last night. And, wish David would work late again so you could come over. My chest went ice cold. My hands were shaking so bad I nearly dropped the damn laptop. 20 years of trust, gone in a single scroll. But the worst was yet to come. Buried deeper in the messages, I saw a name that made me feel like the floor dropped out from under me. My mom. Melissa had been venting to her about feeling stuck. And my mom, the woman who raised me, who I thought had my back, had replied, have fun now. The kids are grown. Don't make the mistake I did by staying miserable. Enjoy life before you get old. My wife responded with a laughing emoji and, thank you for understanding me more than David ever does. I read those lines over and over until my vision blurred. It wasn't just Melissa stabbing me in the back. My own mother handed her the knife. That night, I couldn't hold it in. Melissa walked in around 11, smelling of wine and perfume that wasn't hers, and I was waiting in the living room with her laptop open on the coffee table. Sit down, I told her. My voice was shaking, but my chest was full of fire. She glanced at the screen, rolled her eyes, and sighed like I was a child throwing a tantrum. Oh, for God's sake, David. Snooping through my messages now? That's pathetic. Pathetic? I snapped. You've been screwing around behind my back, and you call me pathetic? 20 years, Melissa? 20 *****ing years. She didn't even flinch. Just folded her arms and smirked. What do you want me to say? You've been boring for years. You work, you come home, you sit on the couch. I needed more. Then I asked the question that had been eating me alive since the afternoon. And my mom? You told her? You bragged about it. Melissa shrugged. She gets it. She told me herself, life's too short to be stuck in a dead marriage. At least she understands me, which is more than I can say for you. I felt my pulse in my ears. I called my mom right there on speaker. She picked up, groggy, and when I demanded the truth, she sighed and said, David, don't be so dramatic. I just didn't want Melissa to waste her life the way I did with your father. Better she be happy than resentful. I sat there staring at the 2 women who were supposed to have my back. My wife. My mother. And they both looked at me like I was the fool for being hurt. Melissa leaned in, bitch, a smirk still plastered on her face, and whispered, "Face it, David. You'll never be enough for a woman like me." That was the moment something in me broke. And something else, something darker, started to wake up. After that night, I didn't know who I was anymore. I'd walk around the house like a ghost, staring at the wedding photos on the wall, wondering if the last 20 years were just a lie. Melissa carried on like nothing happened. She'd hum while making coffee, text on her phone with that smug little grin, then snap at me for moping around. Every word she spoke was like sandpaper against an open wound. But what gutted me most was my mother. Every time I thought about her words, "Better she'd be happy than resentful," I felt like I'd lost her, too. My father was cold and distant when I was growing up, yeah, but I always thought my mom wanted me to break that cycle. Instead, she shoved me into it. She told my wife to betray me. It was like burying two people at once, the wife I thought loved me and the mom I thought supported me. Nights were the worst. I'd sit on the edge of the bed, Melissa snoring beside me, and wonder if she was dreaming about him. Was she reliving every touch, every kiss she denied me? I stopped eating. Dropped 10 pounds in a month. My sister, Emily, pulled me aside one day and said, "You look like hell. What's going on?" But I couldn't even bring myself to say it out loud. The humiliation was too heavy. In my darkest moment, I remember thinking maybe Melissa was right. Maybe I really wasn't enough. Maybe no man could ever be enough for a woman like her. But that thought, that poisonous, humiliating thought, lit something in me. Because the truth wasn't that I wasn't enough. It was that she was never worthy of me. And I was about to show both her and my mother exactly what that meant. Once the shock dulled, paranoia set in. I couldn't shake the thought that if Melissa had been bold enough to brag to my mom, this affair wasn't some fling. It had roots. Deep ones. So I dug. Phone records. Old emails. Credit card statements. I spent nights in my office combing through years of data like a detective who couldn't rest until the case was cracked. And what I found gutted me. The affair wasn't new. It wasn't recent loneliness, after the kids moved out. It had been going on for nearly 6 years. Hotel charges in cities where she claimed she was on. Business conferences. Texts from burner numbers. Even a hidden photo album on her cloud account, pictures of her and him together, smiling like newlyweds. But the knife twisted deeper when I connected the dots with my mom. There were texts between the two of them, Melissa and my mother, going back years. My mom covering for her. Telling her she'd watch the kids if David got suspicious. Advising her to keep her options open and not let me tie her down. One message from my mom to Melissa read, "If David's anything like his father, he won't change. Don't waste your best years waiting for him to." I sat there staring at the screen, my vision blurring with rage. It wasn't just Melissa betraying me. My own mother had been a co-conspirator in dismantling my marriage. They didn't just lie to me. They collaborated. They teamed up to make me the fool. And suddenly, the grief that had been crushing me turned into something sharper. Rage. I wasn't going to cry anymore. I wasn't going to waste away wondering what I did wrong. If they wanted me to be weak, they were about to see how strong I could be. I waited until Melissa got home one evening, tossed her purse on the counter, and started scrolling through her phone like she owned the world. I was already at the kitchen table, laptop open, files neatly lined up like exhibits in a courtroom. "Sit down," I said. My voice was calm, too calm. She smirked, that bitchy little smirk she always used when she thought she was holding the upper hand. "What now, David? Another meltdown?" I spun the laptop toward her, hotel receipts, photos, messages. 6 years of betrayal staring her in the face. Her smile twitched, but she didn't crumble. She scoffed. "So you played detective? Congratulations. What do you want, a medal? I stayed with you, didn't I? I could have left years ago." "Stayed with me?" I snapped. Melissa, you've been living a double life for half our marriage. You didn't stay. You squatted here while you screwed him. That's when she leaned back, crossed her arms, and said the line that burned itself into my skull. You should thank me. At least I didn't blow up the family when the kids were young. I waited until they were grown. You got 20 years of stability. Most men don't even get that. I actually laughed, this hollow, bitter laugh that scared even me. Stability? Melissa, you've been spitting on me behind my back for years. And my own mother handed you the matches. She rolled her eyes. Your mom understands me. She told me not to waste my life. She was right. Look at you, sulking, pathetic, boring. I deserve better. And in that moment, staring at the woman I thought I'd grow old with, I realized something. She didn't just betray me. She despised me. And the only thing left was to make her regret underestimating me. After that confrontation, I broke. There's no nice way to put it. I stopped sleeping. Nights blurred into mornings. I'd lie in bed staring at the ceiling while Melissa snored next to me, imagining her replaying every touch, every kiss she gave him. I stopped eating. Dropped nearly 20 pounds in a month. My clothes hung off me like I was a stranger in my own skin. At work, I was useless. My boss pulled me aside and asked if I needed time off. I said no, but the truth was I didn't want to be home, and I didn't want to be anywhere else either. My sister Emily noticed. She came by one night, looked me over, and said, David, you look like you've been hollowed out. I almost told her everything right then, but the humiliation was a lump in my throat I couldn't swallow down. And my mom. Jesus. Every time I looked at her, I saw the texts. Her words. Her betrayal layered on top of Melissa's. I couldn't even call her Mom without tasting bile. There was a night, low point, where I sat in the garage with a bottle of whiskey and thought about ending it all. Just to stop feeling like the punchline of a cruel joke. But then my phone buzzed. It was a text from my daughter. Love you, Dad. Can't wait to see you this weekend. I stared at that message until the bottle didn't look so tempting anymore. And something shifted. Because maybe Melissa didn't value me. Maybe my own mother didn't. But my kids did. And if I let those two women break me, then they'd win. That night, I decided I wasn't going to die as their fool. I was going to live long enough to make them choke on the truth. The morning after that night in the garage, I looked in the mirror and barely recognized myself. Sunken cheeks. Bloodshot eyes. A man gutted. But under all that ruin, I saw something else starting to flicker. Rage. And rage can wake the dead. I thought about every time Melissa smirked when I confronted her, every sneer about me being boring. I thought about my mom, sitting there in her little kitchen chair, telling me to stop being dramatic, while she handed my wife permission to betray me. No more. I started getting up early, hitting the gym again. At first it was pathetic. I could barely jog a mile without gasping. But each drop of sweat felt like poison leaving my body. My coworkers noticed within a couple weeks. Hey man, you look sharper. You good? Not good. Focused. At night, while Melissa was out with the girls, I was at the dining table cataloging everything, screenshots, receipts, messages, photos. Every lie had a timestamp, every betrayal a file folder. I wasn't just collecting proof for me. I was building a weapon. And I knew exactly how to use it. See, Melissa loved her image. To the world, she was the perfect mom, the fun wife, the friend who had it all. My mom loved her role too, the wise matriarch, holding the family together with advice. I was going to torch both illusions in one strike. They thought I was weak because I kept quiet. But silence was just me sharpening my blade. By this point, my life was split into two halves. The mask I wore during the day, and the truth I assembled at night. During the day, I played the part. Went to work. Ate dinner with Melissa when she bothered to show up. Pretended I didn't notice when she smelled like cologne that wasn't mine. At night, I became an archivist of betrayal. I backed up every text and email, printed them in chronological order. I compiled the hotel receipts alongside Melissa's calendar, where she'd written book club or girls' night. I even had bank records showing cash withdrawals right before weekends she'd claimed she was helping her mom. But the crown jewel? A series of screenshots where Melissa and my mom were openly talking about me. One from Melissa. "He's so clueless. I told him I'm going to a retreat, and he actually offered to drive me." My mom replied, "Don't feel guilty. You deserve fun. David is too uptight, just like his father." I sat there staring at those words, my own mother mocking me while encouraging my wife's affair, and something inside me hardened. This wasn't just about Melissa cheating. This was about two women colluding to strip me of dignity. So I put it all together in a single file. A neat, devastating package of truth. And then I waited for the right stage. Because if they wanted to laugh at me behind my back, I'd make sure the whole family, hell, maybe the whole town, laughed at them instead. The perfect chance came in the form of my mom's 70th birthday dinner. Big family event, siblings, cousins, even my kids came home for it. Melissa was giddy, dressed to the nines, ready to play perfect wife. My mom was glowing, surrounded by her children and grandkids, soaking up the praise. They had no idea what was coming. When dessert was served and everyone raised glasses to toast my mom, I stood up. My hands shook, but my voice was steady. "I want to give a toast too," I said. "To my wife, and to my mother. The two women who've taught me the most about loyalty." Melissa smirked, thinking I was about to gush. My mom dabbed her eyes with a napkin. I pulled out my laptop, connected it to the TV in the dining room, and hit play. First slide, hotel receipts, with Melissa's calendar lies beside them. Book club next to Hilton, room 214. Second slide, text between her and her lover. "Last night was amazing, can't wait to see you again." Gasps around the table. My sister's fork clattered to her plate. Then came the kicker, screenshots of my mom and Melissa laughing about me. My mom's words in giant font on the TV. "Better she has fun now than end up resenting him, like I did with his father." The room went silent. My kids stared at their mother, wide-eyed. My brother muttered, "Jesus Christ." Melissa shot up, face red, screaming, "David, turn it off. You're humiliating me." I looked at her calmly. "No, Melissa. You did that yourself." Then I turned to my mom. "And you? You didn't just betray Dad. You betrayed me. You betrayed your son." She looked like she'd been slapped. For the first time in decades, both of them were exposed. Two queens, one guillotine. And I walked out before dessert was finished. The days after that dinner were chaos. My phone blew up with calls and texts, half from family shocked at what they saw, half from Melissa raging at me for ruining her life. Her reputation crumbled overnight. My kids wouldn't even look at her. My daughter, who used to idolize her mom, sent me a text. "I'm so sorry you went through that. I don't want to stay with her right now." My son just said, "She's disgusting." Melissa tried to do damage control. She called my sister Emily, sobbing, saying I hacked her private messages and twisted things. Emily told her to shove it. "I saw the receipts with my own eyes," she said. Even her own parents turned on her. Her dad called me the next day and said, "Son, I raised her better than this. I'm ashamed." Melissa hated that more than anything, losing her pedestal. And my mom? Her fall was even worse. My siblings confronted her hard. My brother yelled, "You covered for Dad's abuse for decades, and now you've poisoned David's marriage too? What the hell is wrong with you?" She tried to cry her way out of it, saying she just wanted Melissa to be happy. But no one was buying it. Even her grandkids stopped visiting for a while. I thought exposing them would feel like fireworks, like triumph. But honestly, it felt quiet. Heavy. Like standing in the rubble of a house after it burned down. Still, the air was clearer than it had been in years. Their empires were gone. And for the first time, I wasn't the fool anymore. After the birthday dinner fiasco, Melissa knew she couldn't sweet-talk her way back. She still tried, of course. She marched into our bedroom one night, arms crossed, and hissed, "You're not divorcing me. I'll take you for everything." I laughed. For the first time in years, I laughed in her face. "Melissa, you've got nothing. I have 6 years' worth of proof. Every hotel, every text, every word you said about me. Try me." And so I filed. The day we walked into mediation, she wore her best power suit and fake tears. She started her monologue. "Your Honor, David has been distant for years. I was lonely. I made mistakes, but he's trying to ruin me out of spite." My lawyer slid the evidence packet across the table. Receipts, screenshots, transcripts. The judge flipped through it, then sighed. "Mrs. Turner, this isn't a case of loneliness. This is a long-term pattern of deceit." Her mask cracked. She glared at me, that bitch of fire still in her eyes, but this time it was panic underneath. "In the end, I got the house, a favorable financial split, and most important, the moral victory." The judge even remarked, "Mr. Turner, you've shown extraordinary patience under extraordinary betrayal." Melissa stormed out of the courthouse, spitting venom. "You'll never survive without me. You're just a sad, pathetic man." I walked out behind her, lighter than I'd felt in years. "No, Melissa," I said under my breath. "I survived you. That's all I needed." And just like that, the last chain was gone. After the divorce, my biggest fear was the kids. They were adults, but grown kids still get pulled into the blast radius when their parents' marriage implodes. I sat them down separately, told them everything. Not in the gory detail, but enough that they understood I hadn't just walked away for no reason. My daughter said, "Dad, I already knew something was off. Mom's been checked out for years." My son was harsher. "She can keep her bar friends and her boyfriends. She's dead to me." I told them both. "She's still your mother. You can have whatever relationship you want with her. I won't stop you." But the truth? They chose me. They came to my house for dinners, for advice, for comfort. They didn't want to hear Melissa's excuses or my mom's wisdom. They wanted stability. They wanted the guy who had actually been there all along. One night, my daughter hugged me tight and whispered, "You were always the better parent." That broke me down, in a good way this time. Because for years, Melissa made me feel like I wasn't enough, as a husband, as a man. But in my kids' eyes, I was more than enough. The house felt different too. Quiet, but peaceful. No more waiting up to hear her car door slam at midnight. No more pretending I didn't smell someone else's cologne on her. Just calm evenings, laughter with my kids, and the sound of my own breathing not drowned out by betrayal. Healing wasn't instant. Some nights I still woke up angry, still replayed those texts in my head. But every time I saw my kids choosing me, I realized, Melissa and my mother might have betrayed me, but they didn't win. I still had the only loyalty that mattered. After the dust settled, I had to face a brutal question. Who was I without the roles of husband and dutiful son? For 20 years, my life revolved around holding everyone else together. And when those two women gutted me, I realized I had no idea what holding myself together looked like. So I started small. Therapy was first. Saying out loud, "My wife cheated on me for 6 years and my mother encouraged it," felt like ripping open a wound. But week after week, I stitched myself back together. My therapist reminded me, their betrayals weren't proof that I was lacking. They were proof of their emptiness. Then came the gym. At first, it was just me shuffling on the treadmill like a middle-aged cliché. But a month in, I started running harder, lifting heavier. Watching my body change while my mind healed was like seeing proof I wasn't broken. I was rebuilding. Hobbies followed. I picked up woodworking, something my dad once loved but abandoned in bitterness. The first chair I built was crooked as hell, but sitting in it, I felt more grounded than I had in years. I even started hiking with my brother again. Out in the mountains, sweating and laughing, I remembered what joy felt like without anyone hovering over me. And then there was travel. Melissa used to scoff at the idea, saying I wasn't adventurous enough. So I'd booked a solo trip to Ireland, walked along cliffs, drank Guinness with strangers, and realized I wasn't the dull man she painted me as. I was alive. For the first time in decades, I wasn't living for her approval or my mother's control. I was living for me. It's been over a year since I exposed them both, my wife of 20 years and my own mother. I won't lie, there are still nights when the betrayal sneaks up on me, when I replay Melissa's smirk or my mom's texts and feel that old humiliation burn. But most days I feel free. Because here's the truth I learned the hard way: betrayal doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means the people who betrayed you weren't capable of valuing what they had. Melissa wanted excitement, my mom wanted to rewrite her own regrets through my marriage, and they both lost everything that mattered in the process. Me? I didn't lose. I rebuilt. Revenge had its moment. The family dinner where I pulled the curtain back and let them choke on their own words. That was satisfying. But the real revenge isn't in the exposure. It's in the fact that I walked away stronger while they're stuck with the ashes of their choices. Melissa's reputation is gone. My mom's credibility in the family is gone. And I'm still standing, healthier, calmer, more alive than I've been in years. So if you're in the place I was, doubting yourself because someone betrayed you, here's my advice. 1. Get the truth. Even if it guts you, the truth is always better than living blind. 2. Don't accept blame for their choices. Their lies are not your failure. 3. Expose if you need to. Sometimes silence just lets them win. 4. Rebuild on your own terms. Therapy, hobbies, travel, whatever makes you feel alive again. 5. Measure your worth by your actions, not their opinion. They tried to bury me with lies. But all they did was plant me. And now? I've grown into someone they can't touch. I have many other stories. Go to my channel, subscribe so you don't lose us. Give me a thumbs up.